welcome. I'm Zilla,
I'm Tortoise.
and this is my weekly ancient gaming stream where I play various video games with ancient studies or linguistic content and talk about that. Tortoise is our resident puzzle design expert, and we are playing Chants of Sennaar. This is our fifth part of our playthrough, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
If you want to see the hello, Nanaft. Nice to see you. If you want to see the earlier parts of our playthrough, all of the games that I do on this stream, as well as my other videos, can all be found on my YouTube channel, which is Zilla's Athenaeum. And you can follow me at any of the listed socials. This recording will go up there later. So, let's get playing. A short synopsis for those of you who are just jumping in. This is a game where we are just some guy, you know. We're wandering around. We started at the base of this tower, and we didn't remember anything, including the language. We met a bunch of priests who had a language that we deciphered. It was all glyphic. And then we encountered some warriors who had a completely different glyphic language. We have ascended past the priests and we're into the warrior section. And the warriors believe those priests are impure and that they are guarding the chosen, who appear to be some kind of musician. So I have stolen some armor. You can see my tower helm and gauntlets. And this is a little bit of a teleport point. It has some functions. We're starting to see a bit of a universal numbering system for the tower. This mark up at the top, you can see that this is the fourth door we've found. The first one just has that vertical stick, and then a stick with 1 is the second one we found, and then 2, and then 3. I'm interested to see what 4 will be, since it doesn't look like 4 will fit comfortably here.
Yeah, it may be like, say, Mayan, where there is a separate symbol for 5s.
Could be.
That gets combined with a symbol with something for 1 through 5.
So.
One thing I wanted to ask.
Yeah?
Like, you've talked before about how writing systems can reflect the technology that was, basically how the writing was made. What kind of things. And we've seen that the devotees' language had both straight and curved lines, and this one is entirely straight lines. And I'm wondering if that is something that would be sort of based on the writing technology, or is just like the warriors are so rigid or something.
Could be either, really. Straight lines only could be indicative of, of using something with a longer imprint, like a sword, for instance, or a split reed. Something that doesn't just impact at a point, but rather makes lines when it comes down. Much harder to make anything curving if you're using that, whereas these curves that you see here, they kind of have to be made by a point. So you couldn't use, you wouldn't expect to use a chisel to make these unless you were very, very advanced. This would not be a common way of doing something with just a chisel, which impacts on a line, or a sword. But you could do this with, say, a stick or a pen. You could do this with your finger. So something like this might be indicative, as you said, of style, of, giving us a more rigid warrior cast, which they certainly are. But it could also be indicative of a chisel-based writing system, or something more like that. When you get into sort of the cuneiform writing systems, a cune is a wedge, so cuneiform is in the shape of a wedge, and they actually would use a wedged shape stick in clay to make those imprints. And you can get good at it. I've seen videos of people actually using a wedge to create cuneiform. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I think we've seen that.
That's not what I meant to do. But I
Oh.
think it's turned.
Right.
And
You do.
It looks like I should be able to set the light down in here. No. So if it's turning, that probably means that it's this thing that is turning it.
Oh, right, because you can.
So let's see. If we turn that one, we should be able to tell.
But talking about cuneiform, there's
Yeah.
one friend of ours who does a lot of that, and if you've heard of cuneiform gingerbread, she's actually possibly the first person to do that.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know she was. Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
Oh, check this out. So now, so turning it this way makes the stars line up. So these are constellations. So we should be able to see them in the observatory above, perhaps. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. I don't think we have these symbols. Huh.
Yeah, I guess not.
Fascinating.
But we can now go that way.
But we can now go this way. So we've sort of solved a puzzle. Ah.
Wow, even more.
Okay. So... maybe? Some kind of treasure? Oh boy. I don't think we have what we need here either.
And we don't know what that symbol that you're currently on is.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So we have a
We have a boat. Like I was saying before, a very Viking-style boat, and here we have even more sort of Viking indica. The beast head is on one side and the tail on the other. We have the same shields they carry hanging off the sides of the boat. That very sort of Viking single sail structure with a rudder out to one side. Yeah, another variation on the medium shaping the message. Very much so, yeah, exactly. And that really does have an impact on how people think about what they can say. Oh, interesting. Alright, so we can interact with these things somehow, but
Let me write this down because it seems like it might be kind of relevant for a puzzle.
yeah, it does.
So this is a 6x5 grid.
Oh, and it looks like we can... Interesting.
So let's see, we've got a tall goblet. Yeah, I need to do something that gives me more space. So top row, you'd say we have a tall
a
goblet,
tall goblet, horn, hammer.
pretty small
Yeah,
hammer
small
seems like
hammer.
that. Because it's some of these seems like they have
A
sizes.
white dagger.
White dagger.
A big tray.
Okay,
And then
Small
the second
goblet.
row is a small goblet, a fancy mirror, a square mirror. We'll go with a square mirror. A simple mask. A double-sided axe. A horned helm. So they are very much going with the sort of Viking Celtic aesthetic, but horned helms are actually an invention of what, Wagner's opera, did you say?
Yeah, a costume designer for a Wagner opera.
Yeah, so not a real Viking thing, but we do have a very Viking aesthetic. These are, the horn, the style of mask, the style of weaponry here.
Mm-hmm.
So third row is
Black dagger,
a black
I guess?
dagger, a torque. That's a very Celtic style of necklace. It's a metal necklace, a collar almost, with the opening at the front, so you kind of push it around your neck, and then the bottom is a little heavier. And then we have a crown.
A large plate.
A large plate, a black goblet, I guess.
I should not just say BL because some of these are blue.
And then we have a small horn.
Small horn.
A large hammer. It looks like a crested helmet.
Sure.
A blue goblet.
It's a sort of shorter goblet than the other
Yeah.
one.
A plain dagger. Or a blue dagger, whichever you like better. Then we have a gold tray. A gold urn of some kind. And then we have this kithara, this sort of lute-looking thing. So this is the instrument they show the Chosen playing, whoever the Chosen are.
You think that's a kithara? Seems more lyre-like to me, but
Yeah.
I guess we don't really see the strings.
Yeah. You're right. It is more lyre-like, but we'll see. And then
Like
there's a mace.
Yeah.
And then a skull. At least I think that's a skull. It could be a different kind of helm, but it looks like a skull from this angle.
Single axe.
Single axe, a horned mask. Now that doesn't look Viking or Celtic. That's something I would expect to see out of, I don't know, somewhere in Asia, really. It reminds me of some things I've seen in, like, some Indic cultures, maybe Malaysia. And then we have a red dagger.
Is it wavy? I can't.
It's kind of hard to tell. And then a round mirror and, another torque. I guess the first torque is blacker than this torque.
Yeah, watch this be completely irrelevant.
Could be. I mean, we have other displays here. There's another torque, another horned helm, a goblet. There are boxes of treasure.
Yeah, it could be that those are just displayed spoils of war, so not necessarily representative of their own culture.
Hey! This is intriguing. Okay,
New glyphs.
so we have warrior glyphs and then priest glyphs, which is great because that might mean translation.
Okay,
Is there a
so
clear distinction that separates a goblet from another kind of drinking glass or chalice? I think there are technical distinctions, but I don't know offhand what they are. They're both a little bit more modern than I'm used to, we'll call it. But yeah, looking at this this piece, this is really fascinating because in the background there you can see, well, on the right side we've got that tower, which is the tower that we seem to be ascending, which I keep calling the Tower of Babel, which, for a game about different languages. And then on the left side you've got the tower helm that the warriors wear, and the priest hat, the sort of rising sun hat.
And then the figure in the middle is a different cast altogether.
Yeah, we've seen that garb before on one of the teleport things, one of the conversation bits that seems to be some kind of translation thing. So this is going to be another kind of person, presumably. And it looks like they're investigating the stars. They have a magnifying glass, a hat. So I'm guessing that observatory that we saw on this level might be an artifact of whatever their culture is doing.
So presumably the first symbol there, which is we think is person-based because of the Y shape, is referring to
them.
Okay, searches. So that's... What was the priestly one on the right?
The priestly one on the right is help. They've given us some grammar that we can't actually get from this. They've told us that this is an infinitive in English. And we do note some differences in grammar between the two glyph styles, but nothing major. So when they help us out like this, that's giving us some extra context to make it easier for us to parse. So we can see that this is a damaged piece. It's nice that they're giving us the lacunae, that a lacuna is a gap. So lacunae is the technical term for when you can't read a symbol, when there's a gap in the text. So we don't know the priestly word for this cast, for this group of people, but they're searching something to help something.
Yeah, the priestly language didn't have any words for castes between above warriors. It was
It's true.
lay person, devotee, warrior, god.
Yep. So apparently there is some priestly word for that, but I don't think we're going to get it because our priestly glyph category is closed. Like you see, we only have so many things here. And if we go back to the priest language, we have all of the glyphs we're going to get. So, yeah, you're totally right. That is a liar, isn't it? Now that we can see the strings. So.
Yeah, I wonder, go back to the constellations, I wonder if that somehow the glyphs for these will resemble those star patterns if you connect the dots. But that's just a conjecture.
Oops, didn't mean to do that. So this is going to be, let's call them astronomers, rather.
Yes, that you can always recognize astronomers by their fancy hats.
Mm-hmm. Clearly. The hat helps shrink the field of vision so they can get more distance acute. I'm just bullshitting. So this we had sort of the V at the bottom seems to indicate a verb in this glyph language, so these are probably both verbs.
And they corresponded to search and help in
right, so search and help. So we can be reasonably sure of that. So we've already been shown that these translate one to another pretty smoothly. It is nice of them to give us multilingual texts.
And it's also nice that sometimes in the dictionary, like, there was that one page where it was just give the warrior equivalent of these priestly glyphs. You might, even if you don't know what the meaning of them is yet.
So, just looking at that partial glyph that we have on top, at the very end of the sentence. So, help.
Looks like it could be a person-based
Yeah,
thing.
it's got that orientation that makes it look a bit like a Y, which, oops,
Yep.
I keep hitting the wrong button. I always do that.
There's that one glyph that is two Ys on top of each other that I thought might be like people, but I don't think that's actually what's there because we only see one of the...
Yeah, we only see one part of a Y. So I actually think it's more likely to be warrior, to help the warrior, but I don't know. That's
It's definitely not impure, because that is
not
a
that.
different... That is an
Okay,
inverted
so
one.
we can at least confirm the new ones we got. Scientist. Okay. So not just astronomer, but scientist. So maybe the hat is protective gear.
Oh, wait, I didn't... No. Oh, yeah, I put it down there. Okay.
Oops. I was just going to give us another guess here. Nope. Well, that was a very cool text. I like it a lot. Okay.
Got another elevator.
Interesting. Where does it take us? Have we... This looks familiar. We've been here before? Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
Oh, yeah, you were asked to put down your weapon at some point.
Oh, I think we have been in this area before. Much more interested in that hamster wheel over there.
Yes.
But I'd like to look at this. They have a completely different style of sword sticking in their treasure pile than they use. Because they use these very blocky weapons with the kind of the square end. They're much more of a bludgeon than they are a slicing weapon. But here is a more traditional your medieval European sword.
Yeah, I think that... Like I said, I think this may be their spoils.
Yeah, I think this is the loot room. L-O-O-T instead of L-U-T-E, since both are potentially relevant here.
Oh, so you can do this...
Interesting.
levels.
So,
Oh,
does
will that let you move that platform up and down to get
Not
something?
bad. Yep.
So we don't know what of these we want. Hopefully at some point there will be something else that gives us an indication.
I wonder. take the loot. So Nanoft says, I've been watching the Sudoku experts over at Cracking the Cryptic play this game, and they do not have your sense of direction. Yeah, spatial reasoning and being able to understand cryptics, sadly not related, because otherwise I'd be better at cryptics. That's Tortoise's game.
Mm-hmm.
Both cracking cryptics and writing them. So that's interesting. I feel like I wanted to go take a look
At the observatory?
at the observatory.
Seemed like we were missing a key.
Oh, I remember this. So this is... I see. I'm wielding a sword now. I shouldn't go that way.
Is there something to the right up there, or is it...
It's a closed door, I think. I don't know if we'll be able to open it at some point or not, but certainly not right now. It might also just be a... Kind of looks like it has a chain in it, so maybe it's an opening, not a door. Is there more stairs this way? Hello, lizard friend. Hello, Sticky. Stop it. Okay. So in order to get back to the observatory, we'll have to go up that elevator. Let's see what we can see. Now, do I remember what's out here? Not as well as I should. Is this the observatory? This seems like it ought to be the observatory. How lucky it's still / maybe always night.
And if you teleported down to the Abbey, it would doubtless still be day.
Indeed. Oh, the mirror in the treasure hall. That's the symbol we think is treasure.
Okay.
There's a mirror, a square mirror, that looks like that.
A square mirror that looks like that seal, or...
No, that looks like the thing on the paper. I guess I should.
Oh, can you go... Because I was only looking at the seal.
Just a sec. I want to put in that this is treasure. Whereas some of my Youper friends would say treasure. It's always been one of my favorites. Let's take a look.
Oh, I see.
Could we look through here? I don't feel like we could. Yeah, but it's a bit... Well, it's the sky. We don't
Although,
need to-
maybe I should pull up
mark
the...
star chart.
Yeah, pull up the star chart in the glossary. Okay, so... ship. Let's see if I can come up with a approximation here.
The loot has a lot of stars.
Liar, but yes.
Have I been saying loot when I mean liar for like the last 20 minutes?
Only twice, I think.
Okay.
I mean, there was the time where we disagreed on what it was, but...
Yeah, Nanoff, I'd be really interested to know how the engine works here, too. Things seem very simple, but it all runs incredibly smoothly. It's just very stylized.
Scales... I see
Probably
6...
helps that they keep it to one camera angle.
So I see 6 stars in the scales.
Mm-hmm. A simplified Libra.
And then the key...
It's a 3 in the top and a 4 in the teeth. The teeth actually kind of look like a boat, don't they? It's kind of fun.
Okay. I wonder if any of those are recognizable in the star field.
Let's find out.
I think the ship is on the under and to the right of the glyph menu.
Oh yeah, I see. Because there's that kind of row of 4 stars in a diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's the key on the same sort of plane but to the left?
Oh yeah, you've got the 4...
4 teeth there.
not quite a trapezoid, and then the 3 to the left.
I mean, there are a lot of stars.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say. I mean...
The lyre might be bottom center.
And I'm wondering if those 3 sort of Orion's belt-looking stars to the right of that are the top of the scales, but it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, the scales are a little bit harder to make out.
So that's cool. Is the design of that key noteworthy? Yes, there are a couple of things we can tell from the design of the key, which I think is pretty similar to the design that we saw in the lower level as well for a key. So, most keys will have that, like a top in that manner, but it is not at all a given that they will have that elaborate a set of teeth. You do see some like that in, ancient Roman keys, which is the keys I'm most familiar with prior to the modern age. So the Greeks didn't tend to bother locking things up. They did have locks, but they often weren't using personal keys like that. It was more guarding.
So the square mirror is 5th level on the... yeah.
So you have to have metalworking that can do molds that can be very precise in order to get that kind of key. And you also have to have a concept of locks and a... Alright, so we have
Oh.
a mirror. It's actually got something on it. It's almost a Star of David. But interesting. Perhaps that will help us find a particular constellation. So locksmithing as a trade, probably existing, or at least as a subset of metalworking, because you don't want to make your keys out of something softer than metal because they'll wear out of shape. You probably want at least bronze, if not iron, for something durable. You don't want to make a wooden key because it will deform over time. So, the fact that the teeth of the key are elaborate tells us that they're probably a culture of locksmithing rather than just like a one-off kind of creation. Just because, why bother doing something that weird shape if you don't have to? But... Alright. Ooh, alright. So maybe not a mirror, but a frame or a lens. So what do we see now? Oh. We see all of them. I was wrong, the scales are much larger than I thought. But the rest we were totally right about.
Oh, interesting. The way they're connected is not how they appear in the... But they do
look like glyphs, and
yes.
I think we even have some of these glyphs.
So, let me see. So, there's this... Alright, so the one on the upper left was the key, is that right?
Yeah. Upper left was key, upper right was boat. Lower left was
Wire.
Wire, and lower right is the scales. And I bet we can actually put these in now. Well, maybe?
No, I don't think it actually...
Didn't actually give us the glyphs. Do we have any of them? No, we don't. Okay. And this is where we saw what appears to be sun and moon glyphs. Alright. So having done that, what next?
It's a little... I know you asked if I could keep track of the layout, but I don't think I could
That's fine.
if I tried.
I'm just trying to think if there was anything else we were looking at that seemed...
Hello, stickies.
Okay, so this is the place of bottles, which we can apparently go into.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Yes, we can. We've been here. But why? Why do we want to be here? I don't think we do. that's the armory.
This is the Chosen.
This is the Chosen. Yeah, it does make a lot of sense philosophically for the game to have keys be so prevalent, even though we never use keys. Because everything is locked, everything is gated. The puzzles are the keys. This doesn't look familiar at all.
Yeah, I don't think we took this exit before. Presumably it will lead us to what we're,
The Ascent.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh. Hello! We have bells with the constellations on them. This looks promising. Okay.
So I think we're going to have to find something that tells us the combination. Just like we had to discover the messages for correctly orienting the...
There's somebody in here. And they're not wearing a helmet. Or a fancy hat. They've got a book with a bell on the cover. Huh. I see. So this is the place of whatever person that is.
Yeah, it looked kind of like some kind of mysticism from the drawing, but who really knows?
And we don't know. We don't know what that symbol means.
He's a drunk.
And they appear to be a drunk, so we can in fact go get a bottle. But we have another place to go. Place of Chosen. Ooh. So we get statue, warrior carries a weapon. Yes, it does. Warrior does not something death.
It's interesting because it's...
Doesn't look like the regular verb. It doesn't have the bottom V shape. It could be afraid.
Could you get back to that? I hadn't finished transcribing it.
And these, again, are very much in the warrior style. They have no curves, even on the skulls. Even on the things that are very definitely curved in realistic styles.
Yep. Okay, I've got it.
And this appears to Chosen carries...
Instrument, and that one is...
That one looks like a kith.
So, it's just more generally instrument.
Oh, wait a second. What is this?
Warriors wait something for the Chosen.
Okay. So, at least have that.
So we don't have... Wait, pull up the glossary again, just... We don't have anything that looks like the boat glyph, even at an angle.
Mm-mm.
Or the scale glyph.
Nope.
Okay.
But I can at least put in this is. Should I put in that this is fear or afraid? I don't know.
Because it also, like, it looks like it's got the Y in it, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't...
I like how those windows are helmets or screaming faces or something. It's very warrior aesthetic.
The word that we're... Go back there and talk to the warriors again.
Yeah, I mean, that must not be tower.
Okay. I was wondering if the bottom of it was V-shaped, and it's not quite. It's not the right angle.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if it might be like a rival.
Could be still.
Since that was the glyph that was the warriors landing in their boat by the tower.
Ah, stop it. So this is almost certainly correct instead. I don't know. I keep wishing I could run. So let's go see if we can get a bottle. Hi, Sticky. Ah, yes, this is the place with the giant sword. Place of bottles is below. Yep, they didn't bat an eye. Just your average yabo with a sword, picking up booze for the betters. The armor does look heavy. It's true. Armor generally is. Well, metal armor generally is.
Yeah, and a helmet that's just that tall seems...
It's not very practical, but it's good for show. Going up.
Because if it is metal, you have not just the weight, but the, like, torque of it being so long.
Yeah.
Different torque.
Up 2 Ls. Which is probably why they don't have body armor, honestly. Because if you're spending that much of your carrying capacity, as it were, on supporting a helmet like that, then you probably can't bear. Okay. Do we have to put a second bottle?
Does look like there are possibly 2 spaces.
But I'm not getting another prompt.
Well, you only have the one bottle.
Well, before it showed me a key prompt.
Maybe you have to leave and come back.
Could be. Yep. Okay.
He's on the roof now.
Tower duty. Or possibly bell tower duty. Oh,
Okay.
we're getting the rest of these constellation glyphs.
Okay. So...
Key, boat, scales, instrument, boat.
Key, boat, scale, inst, boat. So then that's the sun.
Yep.
Boat, scale, scale. Instrument, instrument. Moon is instrument, instrument. Key, scale. Boat.
And then
Chosen. Scale. Instrument. Key. Boat.
I'm pretty convinced by arrival at this point. So now we should have all the constellation glyphs.
So it seems pretty clear that in that page that you were just on. Oh,
Get some more constellation.
okay, so that's the one.
Bellman. Alright.
So maybe that
Oh.
the one. Oh. Call.
Oh?
Oh, that's the. Those are voice lines emanating.
Ah.
Okay, which one was that call? What was the first one glossed as?
Fortress.
So yeah, I think we have either confirmed or conjectured meanings of everything, but there's one glyph we haven't seen.
Yeah. Well, we think that will be build, and we think that will be some kind of fear. I guess I might as well put that in there. Hey, look, we can actually see somebody's head. That's the first time in this whole game.
There was the child who helped us.
We couldn't see her head.
Oh, right.
She was in a cowl just like us. Alright. So, what is the call for the arrival of the Chosen?
It is scale, instrument, key, boat, key.
Nope. I want to actually ring the bells. Can I not? Maybe I have to do it from this screen. Yes, I do. Okay. These are interesting bells too, because they are so decorated.
Are you able to move?
No, it's saying. Well, what's going on? Yes, it's cycling. Oh! All of the warriors are running. Chosen come. Chosen. So, is the hall empty or still guarded? It is empty. I hope we didn't miss that glyph though. Oh. Uh-oh.
Instrument makes music.
Okay. That's fascinating. That glyph is very close to their glyph for plural. But we have completed the warrior's language. Magic!
But we still haven't made it to the next level. Unless,
I suppose this. That mechanism does not appear to be moving correctly. Hey, look, it's daytime again. And there are birds in this level. And our armor and sword are gone. Probably fortunate. Look at these columns. They're so different. These columns are shaped, and they have sort of an outward curve to them. They have gated tops. The architecture is all in circles, and Oh, wow.
Also, whenever you find a teleporter, we should be able to complete the conversation
Oh, yeah.
from...
Look.
Oh, wow! So this...
This is writing... Oh, this isn't just glyphs. This looks like an abjad or something. It looks like it's taking its cue from either Arabic or Hindi, like Sanskrit writing, where you have a line that runs through the whole word and sometimes multiple words. And oh, I'm so excited! Look how cool it is. Ah, it's probably still glyphic.
Mm-hmm.
But
I thought an abjad was something where the vowels were left out.
yeah, well, sort of. So an abjad is somewhere between, like it is writing where the vowels are diacritics and not, so they're like markings and not necessarily full glyphs. So this is probably still a glyphic language because of the way that they have shaped our expectations thus far. But it looks like Sanskrit or Hindi, which I believe use the same character set. Looks like Devanagari, which is an abjad. So that's what came out of my mouth first. But no, it's probably still glyphic, still based in each sign having a meaning rather than a sound.
Okay.
So, chosen ones pass, warriors do not, and a little do not pass warrior symbol.
Okay, so can you not? Oh,
Oh, sorry.
can you not highlight that because it makes it harder? Can you highlight the bottom stuff? It's harder for me to make out the shapes when it's highlighted. Okay, so things must be pretty different here.
Look at these colors. Like, I haven't seen this use of color in any of the previous levels.
Mm-hmm.
And you see around the door up there, there's the red and yellow, and the yellow, I don't know if those are rooftops or just ledges.
The different shades of blue and green.
The trim on the signs. And the sort of the dome shapes that remind me very much of Arabic architecture, of Islamic architecture in sort of the South Asian-ish region.
Mm-hmm.
So that a sneaky little implication of punctuation in the warrior part. Yes, actually, that is not even very sneaky. That is punctuation. We've got two different sentences, and in the chosen, we'll call them chosen until we find out what they call themselves. The chosen script, it's marked by a break, a space, but because the glyphs don't have anything inherently connecting them, we get a dot. And this is actually really great because it comes from, like, you see this when a language is written without spaces in other places, like Roman Greece. You'll often see, especially Roman stuff when it's written in all caps. If you see a dot like this up in the middle, that's a good way of indicating that it's a meaning break, that it's a sentence break. So that you don't try and incorporate the whole line. I'm so excited by this style of writing. Just look at it. Oh, it's beautiful and different. I'm so pleased. Okay.
So looking at the glyphs up there. So we've got the two vertical lines that have a dot by them. And then we have the second glyph in the first and the third glyph in the second have similar shapes. Like, they both have the sort of sickle shape on the outside, though the proportions are different. If you know what I mean. And so it could be sort of like how the warrior glyphs had certain elements that had common meaning.
So I'm noticing in the new script that the only commonalities are those things. So we have what is probably a negation on both sides of the line.
Yeah.
On the front and the back of the line. So that actually is a feature found, for instance, in Spanish. In Spanish punctuation, I mean. So where you have like the exclamation point upside down at the beginning of the sentence and then right side up at the end. So that's a very realistic thing to have, is if you're negating a sentence, you essentially put strike-through marks on either side of it.
Yeah, or for negation, like in French, you would put ne pas, two separate words around the verb that you're negating.
Exactly. So I'm feeling pretty confident that sort of line over the line is the negation, and that it appears on both sides of whatever is being negated. Of the whole sentence, in fact. Not just what's being negated.
So I wonder if the first symbol there with the two lines and the dot is a plural marker, because that is the only thing that... The only other... That and pass are the two things.
I'm more inclined to say that that's the verb, that's pass, and the little sickle marker is a plural.
Yeah, that makes more sense, with it being such a simple marker.
With it being such a simple mark, and if that sort of large sickle, the base of the different glyph in the middle, if that means person, and with the curly Q up, that means chosen, and with the straight line going down, that means warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so... Oh, we have them represented by that horned mask iconography, which does sort of put us back in that sort of South Asian mindset. Nanoff asks if that sort of like dot between lines is where we get period and comma from, and yes, it is actually. So both in Greek writing and Roman writing, you will find that, and it got elaborated on over the years in a lot of Indo-European, particularly Romance-derived languages in orthography. So the middle sort of period marker, as we turned that into a comma, and then the period at the end of a sentence. Like, we could use either. The more important one, the one that I was trying to get at, was actually the Greek writers, sometimes they use a question mark, but it's not our curvy question mark. It looks like our semicolon. So those early punctuation marks do have a relation to our punctuation marks that we use now, for sure. So we think this is pass or go. This is, we'll call it musicians.
Sure.
Because I don't know what they call themselves. This appears to be our plural marker. So a shift back from the plural marker appearing before what it relates to after what it relates to.
And we're also postulating a verb-subject sentence order.
Yeah.
Unsure where the object would go at this point, but...
Indeed. All right.
English word sentence order is usually subject, verb, object.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, one of these Rosetta Stone type things.
Okay, so warrior, not plural. Yep. But like even the doors are shaped in this very sort of tower with a dome style.
Yeah,
It's very
a door shape with concavities like that seems very odd.
very stylized. And look at this. This one is actually shaped like a gear. That's fascinating. So like we saw their gear tech coming up here. Because, you know, that certainly didn't look like anything else in the warrior level. But yeah, like everything here is decorated. Like even those blank walls down there, they just have dome shapes because why not? We've got different flora up here than we had in the lower levels. We didn't see these sort of cactus flowers when we were in the lowest level, which was the only other place we saw gardens. But I do think that this is a good place for us to stop for the day. As we learn a little bit about our new area. We will be back next week, same time, same place, same ancient gaming stream, Saturdays at 3 p.m. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed, and hey, keep learning, friends.